Hi everyone, and welcome back to Stamp with Anna. And today I'm going to make a card for my husband. We are having an anniversary tomorrow, and I'm going to make him a card that incorporates everything that we love together. We love going to the beach together, and I love lighthouses, and he very nicely comes along with me when we visit all the lighthouses, and he climbs the lighthouses with me. He doesn't complain about it. So I'm going to make him a special card that incorporates a lighthouse and the beach. And for stamp sets, I'm going to use 3 different stamp sets. I'm going to use this High Tide stamp set, and I'm going to use the lighthouse, the sand, the ocean, and these little blades of grass. Then I'm going to use the new Enjoy Life stamp set, and I'm going to use, for the inside of the cards, I'm going to use these sentiments here that say, I don't think I could love you more than I already do. And I just think that's a really great sentiment. And then I'm going to use this Colorful Seasons, but I'm not going to use the stamp set. I'm going to use the coordinating dies that go with it, and they're called Seasonal Layers. And what I'm going to use from this, you can see it has so many dies that go with it. You can cut out, and it is Colorful Seasons. You have all the seasons here. You have spring, winter, summer, and fall. I'm just going to cut out 2 of these Adirondack chairs because that's what we like to sit on when we are at the beach. So for paper, I'm going to use a piece of Smoky Slate. This is 8.5 by 5.5 cut at 4 1/4. Then I have a piece of Real Red, and this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Then I have 2 pieces of Whisper White cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and then I just have a scrap piece of white. For inks, there are a lot of inks. I'm going to use the new Balmy Blue, Real Red, Smoky Slate, Bermuda Bay, Pierre Pizzazz, and I just thought of another one I was going to use, and I can't remember what it is. When I get to that part of my card, I'm sure I'll remember. Oh, I think it was the Sahara Sand. I was going to just distress my chairs a little bit. So anyway, let's get started. And because I am using photopolymer stamps, I'm going to use my Pierce mat. And I did take out all of my stamps from all the different stamp sets, and I put them on my large block. This way, when I'm done with them, I'm going to put them right back here, and I'm not going to lose one single stamp. Because sometimes they get stuck to things on my work surface. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp on one of my 4 by 5 1/4 pieces of Whisper White. And I'm going to make my lighthouse first. So I'm going to take, the lighthouse has 2 pieces. Now I could use my Stamparatus for this. This would be the perfect kind of card to use that for. But this actually is a pretty easy stamp to line up, so I'm not going to use the Stamparatus. So I'm going to stamp the lighthouse that's solid. And I'm going to put it right around this corner here, over to the left and up just a tad. I'm going to stand up to do this so I can see better. And I'm just going to go straight down and straight up. Now I do need this block, so I have to clean my stamp off. And off camera, I just have my Stamp and Scrub, which I absolutely love. So I'm going to put that back on my block. And now I'm going to get the other image of a lighthouse, and I'm going to mount that, and I'm going to make the contrast to this using Smoky Slate. So I'm going to ink, straighten this up a little bit. I'm going to ink that up, and then I'm just going to come right over this, and like I said, this is a pretty easy stamp to line up. Well, not so much so when I have the camera in my face, but I'm going to go straight down and straight up, and there we go. Okay, now I'm going to rinse this off, put that back, And now what I need to do is just make my sand. So for that one, I'm going to use a bigger block. And I'm going to mount the image of the sand. And because this sand is going to go over this white, I'm just going to slip in a piece of scrap paper behind my project here. And I'm going to ink that up with Sahara sand. And again, I could use my Stamparatus for this, but it's really easy, an easy stamp to line up. It's a little, like I said, a little harder when you have a camera in your face, but put that right there. And that's perfect. And see how it was off just a tad there. So now I want some more sand here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp the part of the stamp that doesn't, up to the part that has that little cutout there, because I don't want that indentation showing up. And I'm just going to come in and add a little bit more sand around. And I might just turn this over as well to get a little bit of texture there. All right, now there's my sand. Now the next thing I'm going to do is do my ocean. And now I'm going to take my stamp, the image that is the water, mount that, and for this one I'm going to use Bermuda Bay. And I'm just going to ink that up and just try not to get into my lighthouse there. I'm going to just slip a piece of paper right here so I don't hit my lighthouse with my ink. And then a little bit on this side here. And there's my ocean. I think I could go back over that to make it a little more full. Just going to come in and add a little bit more water. See how that just fills the ocean in a little bit? And I'm going to come in and do the same on this side right there. All right, and now there's my ocean. The next thing I'm going to do is my sky. And for that, I'm going to use the new Balmy Blue and a quartered sponge. I've cut a sponge in quarters, and now I'm just going to come in and sponge this all around. And in order to prevent getting the outline of the sponge when you come in and sponge, you want to make sure that you ink up your sponge and come in off the side. You don't want to drop your sponge right on your project, because you will get that image right there, the outline of that sponge right on your project. So you come in off the side and just make little swirlies until you get a sky that you like. It's a nice cloudless day here at the beach. And try as I did, I do have a blotch there, but I think I know how to fix that. So now I'm going to add some green to the sand here. And I'm just going to put some of this along. I can barely see it, but it's a nice touch. I'll put some over there and some over here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take my Adirondack chair and my scrap paper, and I'm going to go cut this out twice. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back with my 2 little Adirondack chairs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Sahara sand again. And with a little sponge, I'm just going to lightly distress this. I want these chairs to look like they've been at the beach, not so stark white. They've been used and enjoyed at the beach. Okay, so these are going to go right about here. Now, my sentiment in high tide or low tide, I'll be at your side, I thought was perfect because the chairs are side by side. And I'm going to try to mask that little blue blob there. So I'm going to use a darker color. And I think I might go with the red actually. And I'm going to put that, let me move this piece out of my way. I'm going to put that right there on the corner. Straight down and straight up. And that hides it a little bit. So now I want my chairs to be right here, because that's where we are, sitting at the beach. So what I'm going to do is I have these strips of dimensionals, and they're called foam adhesive strips, and I'm going to turn my chairs over, and I'm just going to cut some of this up a little bit and randomly place it on my chair so that it will stand up. So I'm going to cut that off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've cut some of that strip and I've put it around the back of my chairs, so that when I put my chairs on my card, they'll be popped up a little bit, and that'll add a nice little bit of dimension. And what I like about the foam strips is you can cut it any size you want. So I'm going to put one right there. And one right next to that one. I always say the hardest part about using any kind of dimensionals is just getting the tape off of it, the little white pieces on the back. And I'm going to put that right there. Okay, now I'm going to mount that with my snail onto my Real Red. When I decided to make this card, I sat down to put this video together. I'll show you what I had. I had my little sketch. That's what I started with. And then as I went along, designing it and thinking what I was going to do, I changed my mind a million times. And this is how it ultimately came to be. So now I'm going to put a little bit more snail on this and mount it onto my smoky slate. And now I need to do the inside. For the inside, I'm going to do 2 different colors. I think I'm going to do Bermuda Bay and I'm going to mount the sentiment that says I don't think I could, and then there's a space, more than I already do. Okay? And I'll show you the other piece that's in the stamp set that you can use for this. So I'm going to center this up. Put that right in the middle. And then I'm going to take the stamp that says love you, and I'm going to ink that up in real red. Make sure that it's nice and straight so that I can line that up nicely on my card. And then I'm just going to stand up for this one. Right there. I don't think I could love you more than I already do. And that stamp set, you could also use this one here is thank you. Excuse me, miss you. And then you do have this thank you kindly. If you were to block out that kindly, you could fit the thank you in there as well. So there's lots you can do with that stamp set. And now I'm going to take this and mount it on the inside of my card. And there we go, a special card for my husband, which incorporates everything we love absolutely most to do together. My lighthouse and beach. Well, he likes the lighthouses too. He is a good sport about coming. We've gone and we've climbed so many lighthouses. We've seen them in quite a few states. We even spent a night in a lighthouse here in Massachusetts in Fall River. And he was such a good sport about that. But anyway, there's my card. If you have any questions about this card or any of the products I use, certainly contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with whom you currently work and you would like information on any of these products, or if you would like a copy of the new fall and winter catalog, certainly let me know. I'll be glad to drop it in the mail to you. Thanks so much. Have a great day.